This week on TORC Unleashed, we journey out to the dirt track at Chicagoland Speedway for 2 high-flying, high-octane evenings of racing. Does Nitro Circus superstar and wildman Travis Pastrana have what it takes to compete in his first off-road race? We'll find out. Then, we go behind the scenes to follow one of the hardest working race teams on the circuit. Later, the engine-building experts at Roush Yates give us the inside scoop on creating one of the top racing engines in the world. And finally, as the green flag flies, the fastest off-road machines on the planet take to the stage at Chicagoland for 2 intense days of racing. All that and more, next on TORC Unleashed.
Chicago, the jewel of the Midwest. The city is known for its great food, diehard fans, and a fast-paced way of life. And that couldn't be more true here.
Hi, I'm Kelly Snyder, and I'm here at the dirt track at Chicagoland Speedway, where some of the world's fastest athletes have competed for the checkered flag. This weekend, that's no exception, as for the next 2 days, the Windy City is about to experience a whole new breed of motorsports. Welcome to TORC Unleashed.
Well, Chicago's a great venue. I mean, you hear the people come down through here and they said, I never saw anything like this.
The way they did the layout is fantastic this time because we jump out of the infield. We go around 3 and 4 all the way down the front straight with a couple of jumps.
It's really tight. The corners get really tight. You know what I mean? You're going to have to bump someone to make a pass, and you know what I mean? And that makes good entertainment for the crowd.
Chicago's got a great facility, great grandstands.
We go through 1 and 2, just carry an enormous amount of speed, and then we have to dive it in the infield.
You know, it's not high speed. It's bumps, jumps, thrills, a lot of corners, a lot of action.
You don't have much time to think. It comes really fast. It's really difficult.
These corners come up on you a lot quicker than you think.
We got a quick left, we have a short shoot with a little double.
A little bit more motocross style, but yet when you get up on these bank sweepers, you still do carry a lot of speed.
And then comes the big tabletop, through the rhythms, down the middle, right in front of the crowd. And it's neat to be running in Chicago in conjunction with some NASCAR events, as well as under the lights at night, because it gives a whole different element to this track.
I love racing at night, so Chicagoland's a pretty fun place to be.
The people here last night and coming through the pits and mingling with us, they were stoked.
This weekend, the fans of off-road racing get a little something extra here at the dirt track of Chicagoland Speedway. And it comes in the form of Nitro Circus founder and extreme athlete, Travis Pastrana.
Super pumped to be in Chicago, and what about that Chicago fans? I mean, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon right now. They got 6 hours before our race probably. This TORC series is so much impact and so much driving, and you're just cranking around. And Jolene is basically, she loves driving everything. And kind of with Nitro Circus, if it's an expensive item, I'm usually the one that gets to drive it, and then I usually crash it. And Jolene's like, well, I was going to drive it next.
I got a phone call from Travis, and that's how most of the craziness starts in Nitro Circus land. I'm here in Chicagoland, and I'm going to race off-road truck in the TORC series.
You know, today, Jolene going out there is going to be awesome. Oh man, it was an expensive day, but I tell you what, Nitro Circus, it's all about going out, having fun. That's her second lap. She was already flat pinned, top gear around the corner, launched, overcorrected a little, we'll give her that, but you know, second lap ever in a Pro 2 truck. I threw her into the wolves. I mean, that was entirely my fault, but that's how we do it, Nitro. Underprepared and over-enthusiastic. Jolene, I'm glad she's okay. Her eyes are still a little dilated. My wife's not so happy. She's like, wait, that wasn't covered? I'm like, well, it was covered until she crashed and the tires went flying off. But Jolene, I'm proud of you, girl. Way to step through nitro fashion, and I think we made the highlight reel. I'm just proud of Nitro Circus to make it to so far. We'll never make any money on Nitro Circus because we always put all our money back into racing, but I tell you what, I wouldn't trade it any other way, and we get to travel around the world with our friends, doing stuff that we should have never done, pulling some stuff off that we shouldn't have pulled off, and really just having a lot of fun. So, I mean, at the very least, that's what it is. And the very most, it's a bunch of guys jumping big wheels from roof to roof, 55 stories up. We had a great time making that movie. No one died in the making of our movie, and because no one would insure us, we all paid it out of pocket. So go see Nitro Circus 3D, August 8th. It's in theaters everywhere, please, or we don't get our houses back.
Next on TORC Unleashed, we go behind the scenes to follow the largest racing team on the circuit. We get to meet two brothers that turn their love of RC racing into the real thing. Then, we'll lift up the hood and find out what puts a Roush Yates motor on the top of the box. And later, the track is set and the drivers are ready. We'll highlight a weekend of racing that's not to be missed. All this and more, next on TORC Unleashed. TORC Unleashed is brought to you by Amsoil, Cooper Tires, and by Oakley.
Welcome back to TORC Unleashed. I'm Kelly Snyder. Every race team has their very own unique story, and this team is no exception. It all started with two brothers and their passion for radio control cars.
Underneath the Traxxas tent, an enormous team of racers and crew gear up for a non-stop weekend of racing. For team owner Mike Jenkins, the love of racing started not with a full-size truck, but with something a little smaller.
When Mark and I came into driving short course trucks, the only exposure we had to something in off-road in full-size racing was our experience in driving radio-controlled cars.
To be a good RC driver, you have to visualize yourself in that small car and drive it as if there's a little person inside there.
That experience unto itself was something that was really important to us because we were able to anticipate what the truck was going to do. If you stop spinning the wheels through a corner and it catches traction, it goes up on two wheels, it bites, and when that happens, you've got to steer into it, and that's how you save the truck.
I'm a science guy. Analytical problem solver, so I solve problems for a living. And this allows me to release that aggression that I had pent up that I cannot release in any other form of activity. I tried to play golf before, and I brought testosterone to the sport of golf, and you've seen that result. The harder you swing, the shorter it goes. After pawning the clubs, I found motorsports. I think my brother is a very patient racer. I think he thinks about things well in advance and he lets things come to him, whereas I am impatient and I take things that I want. Sometimes it works out to my benefit, sometimes it does not. Sometimes I finish in front of him, sometimes I do not. Checkers or wreckers?
Yeah, we're going to inspect the track about an hour before the thing fires off and see what they got, what kind of shape it's in.
Besides the Jenkins brothers, the Traxxas teams are also made up of super buggies, Pro Lights, and Pro 2s.
Traxxas actually has one or two trucks in every class. We got 2 Pro 4s, 2 Pro 2s, 3 Pro Lights, and 1 super buggy. So out here in Chicago, we have at least 1 truck in every class. Luke Johnson, I'm 20 years old. I race in the Pro Light class in the TORC series. Got a little bit of rain last night, so looks like we might be combining practice and qualifying instead of having 2 groups. We're up to 8 drivers under these tents, and it gets a little hectic being this much. I mean, there's a lot of people working under this tent, working real hard to make sure that we all hit the track and the truck looks as best as it can, working as best as it can.
Race weekends I always look forward to. By the end of them, you're beat, but it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun too.
I've dreamed of doing this since I was a little kid, and once you start doing it, you just fall in love with it. You don't want to stop.
I'm a firm believer that if I'm fast enough to catch you, I've got enough skill to pass you without destroying you. So that's just, I don't know, I'd say I'm a pretty clean, courteous driver. I give everyone personal and professional courtesy until that, you know, respect isn't returned, and then it's game on. It's like a drug, to be honest with you. I mean, the feeling is just such a rush. It's hard to even compare it to anything.
You know what? It's funny, because some days I wonder why I love it. And you know what I mean? And I'm like, I had enough of this thing. But when I wake up the next morning, I'm off to the shop. I can't get away from it. Once it's in your blood, you just can't get away from it. I'm kind of the boss of my shop, so I take care of and oversee whatever happens, all the changes, all the upgrades and shocking and everything else. Not only do I get to drive as a professional, I also get to build, fabricate, design, develop, and I'm kind of what I call myself a field engineer. I pretty much know nothing else but racing. I've been in it 21, almost 22 years, and you know, I'm a 7-time champion, 80 plus wins in a pro light. Finally, I got to move up into this Pro 2. I've been in it for 3 years now. Once you drive one of these Pro 2s, you don't want to go back to a pro light. To run in Pro 2, you know, we got our first win this year at Crandon, and just hacking away trying to get this championship.
My name is Keegan Kincaid. I race in the pro light class. It's a spec, more like it's a standardized chassis. It's a driver's class, you know what I mean? They all want the vehicles to be the same. It's kind of a stepping stone to hopefully get into a Pro 2 or a Pro 4 someday. I've been around racing all my life. My dad's raced since I was born, and I just finally got my chance to race last year. Halfway through the season, I got into a pro light.
In off-road racing, this is a family venue. And we've always brought the kids, we've always done that, so they've seen it, they saw all the stuff that happens, and to actually have him get behind the wheel and do what he's doing, I mean, it touches me, you know, to see that the bloodline is long.
I hope the way I drive, people think it's a good way. Pro light, you know, that's one of the toughest classes to be in right now. There's so many trucks, and anybody can win on any given day. It's a battle every single day we race out here, and you know, that's what makes us better and makes me better.
To have him do what he's doing right now and come up the ranks, it's good. I mean, I'm tickled. It's just, you know, a father moment, and to see that step and to see all that happen, the next generation, it's good.
Next on Torque Unleashed, we dive into the world of motors with the engine experts at Roush Yates. Then the pros take to the dirt track of Chicagoland Speedway for rounds 7 and 8 of the Traxxas TORC Series. Can Nitro Circus daredevil Travis Pastrana capture the checkered flag in his first off-road race? We'll find out next on Torque Unleashed. As the fans of Chicagoland Speedway ready themselves for a full-throttled weekend of racing, the experts over at Roush Yates Racing Engines prepare their clients with some of the fastest engines on the planet.
The Roush Yates Engines program started in 2004 with the collaboration between Jack Roush and Robert Yates at the request of Ford Motor Company for doing NASCAR engines. We're able to go back and stuff that we learned road racing in the NASCAR world and brought that here. Typically, our engines last a significant amount of time. Generally, we'd like to see them about halfway through the season for a rebuild, and that's more precautionary than anything. We have been able to go a complete season between major overhauls. This is Scott Taylor's truck. The guys brought it in, tore all the sheet metal apart, and now just going through the regular maintenance checks, make sure there's no loose lines. The belt-driven part of it, the belt strut is nice. The pulleys look good. Make sure, you know, our spark plugs look nice. We got one boot here starting to go bad, so we replace that. We look at what the optimal temperature, running temperature should be to produce the best power. You know, the hotter the engine gets, the less efficient it will become after a certain point. The coolant comes in this tank, goes to that side, comes back this way, down this hose, and it will repeat the process in the back radiator here. And then the cooled water will come through this lower hose out back to the engine. The guys will run a little spoiler here. That helps to create a little negative pressure here to help promote airflow through the car and out the back. If not, the air would come back down and pack in here, and you wouldn't be as efficient back here with the airflow coming out of the back of the radiator. Unlike NASCAR, where it's stipulated that everybody's got to be the same cubic inch and the same weight vehicle, here in short course, there's a formula. It's for the two-wheel drives, it's 9.75 pounds per cubic inch, and in the four-wheel drives, it's 10 pounds per cubic inch. So you'll see a varying degree of size engines for however light you want to build your truck. Like the Toyotas of Johnny Greaves, they're smaller engines, lighter weight trucks. Scott Taylor here built heavy duty stuff for durability on the track, so if you do have contact, stuff doesn't easily get bent or broke. A lighter truck's easier to maneuver, turn, stop, and so on, but they run the risk of the durability side of it when they have contact with another truck.
Somebody on the gauge?
Ready?
Yep.
Just under 20.
What do you want, Mike? 25?
25. We constantly try to update our carburetors and other systems like that, get feedback from the drivers and teams that we need to make adjustments to try to make a system better. We don't really have our slogan, we just strive for excellence, customer satisfaction type of thing.
Next on Torque Unleashed, the green flag flies as the world's fastest off-road machines invade Chicago. Torque Unleashed is brought to you by Traxxas, Ram, BF Goodrich, and Mastercraft.
Welcome back to Torque Unleashed. I'm Kelly Snyder. Well, the track is set and the racers are ready. There's only one thing left to do. Gentlemen, start your engines.
Thursday, round 7, Pro Light. As the green flag flew, returning Pro Light champion Andrew Cadell took the early lead. Cadell continued distancing himself from second place Casey Curry and Brad Lovell in third. Back in mid-pack, a bad landing for Cook allowed Greaves to move ahead, followed by Keegan Kincaid. At the checkered flag, returning champion Andrew Cadell took the win, followed by Casey Curry in second and Brad Lovell in third. Next, the Pro 2s. At the beginning of the race, Jeff Kincaid grabbed the hole shot. Then, Rob McCachran dispensed with defending champ Bryce Menzies, and then collided with Jeff Kincaid, driving the then race leader's front end into a K-barrier and propelling McCachran into the lead. Meanwhile, Nitro Circus daredevil Travis Pastrana moves into third. Pastrana makes a move and passes Taylor for second. At the checkered flag, Rob McCachran takes the win, followed by first-time off-road racer Travis Pastrana in second and Scott Taylor in third. The Pro 4s. As the green flag flies, Scott Douglas and Johnny Greaves move up front. Greaves challenges Douglas for the lead and moves up front. Douglas hits Greaves, causing the leader to spin out, creating a 4-car pileup. Suddenly, Adrian Cheney moves past the carnage and jumps into the lead. Douglas breaks away and now trails Cheney in second. Douglas and Cheney continue battling for the lead. Douglas finally gets around Cheney and moves into first. As the checkered flag flies, Scott Douglas takes the win, followed by Adrian Cheney in second and Ricky Johnson takes third. Friday, round 8, the Pro Lights. Casey Curry moves up front early in the race. Points leader and past champion Andrew Cadell struggles to keep up. Meanwhile, Sean Morris trails behind in third. As the checkered flag flies, last night's second-place finisher Casey Curry now grabs a first, followed by Andrew Cadell in second, and Sean Morris takes third. The Pro 4s. At the beginning of the race, Johnny Greaves and Mark Jenkins move up front and take the early lead. Meanwhile, returning champion Ricky Johnson inches closer and closer to Jenkins for third. Johnson passes Jenkins to take second. Now Johnson sets his sights on front-runner Greaves. Johnson and Greaves go neck and neck for the lead. Johnson takes the lead. At the checkered flag, Ricky Johnson takes the win, followed by Greaves in second and Scott Douglas in third. The Pro 2s. Early in the race, returning champ Bryce Menzies took the early lead with an eager Rob McCachran hot on his tail. McCachran moves past Menzies and sits up front. Meanwhile, Chad Horde inches himself closer to Menzies. Menzies and Jeff Kincaid get tangled up, allowing Horde to move into second. As McCachran and Horde distance themselves from the rest of the pack, Kincaid and Menzies continue battling for third. Kincaid collides with a wall, allowing Menzies to take third. At the checkered flag, Rob McCachran takes the win, followed by Chad Horde in second and Bryce Menzies in third.
Well, that about wraps it up for us here at the dirt track at Chicagoland Speedway. I'm Kelly Snyder, and we'll see you next time on TORC Unleashed.